Hi, everyone. David Sikorsky with CCA Maryland and Virginia coming to you on July 2nd, just ahead of the big holiday weekend, of course, Independence Day weekend. And it's the 250th year. So some pretty exciting stuff. We got a big front row seat to everything Sail 250 in Baltimore last weekend at the Baltimore Peninsula at Port Covington Marina and at the brand new venue, Sea Garden, where we were able to pick up some drinks and some food and then hit the water, watch the planes, watch the ships, and have some fun. So, folks, get more involved, get down by the water, celebrate this weekend nice and safely. And we hope to see you actually at the Greater Baltimore Banquet at Sea Garden at Port Covington Marina September 19th. And so we do have some fall events. If you're viewing this in our newsletter, you'll see down below that we have our Baltimore Banquet September 19th. We have our Annapolis Banquet October 1st, and then Oyster Blues and Brews on October 3rd. We also have a 5K that we're excited to partner with some local folks on, where there'll be a reef ball building activity and a 5K here in the Baltimore area, not far from our office at Baltimore Peninsula. So that's my local chapter. And if you're not seeing stuff happening around the watershed in your local area, that means your local chapter needs maybe some more organization, needs folks coming together in a grassroots way to help host a fundraising banquet, help host special events, help bring people together at anglers nights, at happy hours, coming together for any purpose that may advance our work to ensure the health and conservation of our resource and anglers' access to it. That's how CCA operates across the two states here in the Chesapeake Bay watershed. And yes, there are more states in the watershed, but Maryland and Virginia working together as CCA state chapters. So earlier in June, we had some leadership come together and reaffirm that partnership, that we work together across this region. It's more than the Chesapeake, it's the Mid-Atlantic waters too. It's anywhere that matters to recreational anglers in Maryland and Virginia. We're driven by our local chapter strength and our volunteer engagement. And so our meeting was a great team of folks, some that have been supporting our organization for a long time and some that have just raised their hand. We onboarded some new people and talked about that throughout the rest of 26 and into 27. We'll be looking to expand our volunteer ranks, people that want to stand up and say, you know what, I have an idea. I have the ability to help organize and push forward to make things a reality. And that's how CCA works and has now almost for 50 years across our country, being founded in 1977 in Texas. So anyway, lots to celebrate. And actually, speaking of celebrations, and a great component of CCA Virginia that's new for us this year is our partnership with Legacy Marine down in Yorktown for Friday nights on the landing. I was able to attend one back in June, meet some friends from VIMS, talk to local folks, bumped into a member that moved to Richmond and was coming down to the event because they heard about it through CCA. And what a beautiful spot, what an amazing facility with some really great boats that they offer at Legacy, nice high and dry stack. And we'll be back for a CCA focused event in August 28th at Legacy. But July 17th, there's one coming up soon. So Friday nights on the landings, live music, adult beverages. It's a nonprofit partner that benefits. And July 17th, it will be Heroes on the Water, the Tidewater chapter, which is fantastic. Over on the Maryland side of things, there's an Anglers Night coming up where Chris Vasala, one of our Southern Maryland chapter leaders, who now serves on our board of directors and management committee, Chris is actually speaking about his experience and leadership in Heroes on the Water at an Annapolis chapter Anglers Night Out. And so you'll start to see the repeated theme. And if you want to start doing the stuff we're doing in your local chapter, just reach out, raise your hand, and our team, our staff will work with you to connect you with other volunteer members and show you how we operate at CCA. Of course, we're always focused on delivering the conservation work that's necessary, the advocating for our resources, and our robust habitat program. And we're proud to work with both the VMRC and the Maryland Artificial Reef Initiative and Maryland DNR to try and continue to donate materials and support their work to enhance habitat for recreational anglers. And so we couldn't do this work without a bunch of great volunteers. And drum roll, please. We now have a larger team of staff because just last week, Molly Rudo joined our team as the programs and engagement manager. So Molly had been supporting our work as a contractor throughout this year. After a couple conversations around what we do and if there'd be an opportunity. And here we are. And it's all thanks to so many great supporters continuing to lean in where they can. CCA is a choose your own adventure type thing. And Molly reached out as a volunteer first, then a contractor, and one conversation led to another. And we're really proud to have her bringing her skills and her passion for the Chesapeake to our work here. So I think you're going to see the positive difference that she makes along with me and Jesse Howe, our assistant director, in 2026 and into 2027. So again, welcome aboard, Molly. And folks, this means you. Let's get involved. I want to see you at a future event. I want to see the emails coming in. When you email the information at email, it comes to Jesse and I, and now Molly. So we'll connect with you to talk more about what we can do moving forward. So habitat conservation, youth and family fishing, all sorts of great stuff. And speak of the devil, let me just highlight what we've got up, what we have going on. A lot of times I'll go through the various websites and whatnot, but I'm just going to show you one spot, the link tree. But before I go there, I want to mention two quick items on Menhaden. One of actually two of which will be on. So I have three items. There's news on the Menhaden front. There is a new economic study that just came out. In fact, why don't I click and share the screen here? There is a new study that came out that has the economic impact, shows the $1.5 billion economic impact that recreational angling creates in fisheries that include Menhaden as their bait. So we all know bunker, man, it's an important component of fishing in this region. If you don't have bait, you're not going to, fresh bait, good bait, you're not going to go out and have successful fishing sometimes. Of course, we also need bait in our waters. We need an abundance of fish in our waters. And so if you haven't been paying attention, we've had this lack of abundance of Menhaden the last few years after seeing some pretty good numbers of what we would call peanut bunker or smaller bunker in the Chesapeake a few years back. Well, managers chose to not reduce the total allowable catch to the levels that science said they should in order to maintain an ecosystem-based management approach for Menhaden, something that was touted as groundbreaking. Well, it was abandoned, and it was abandoned last October when the total allowable catch was only reduced by 20% based on the adjustment of science. And unfortunately, that was just adjusting something that had happened for many years, where total allowable catch, by following what's called the best available science, now known as flawed, allowed a lot of take of biomass that we now know is more important. And it's very difficult for managers to make a 50-something% reduction like was called for last year for the Menhaden. But there's actually a link to this. It's a bit, back in time a little bit, but board abandons ecosystem-based management of bunker can take you back to where we were. The bottom line is we're taking too many Menhaden. There aren't enough Menhaden. And if the prevailing conditions exist that exist today, where small fishermen, bait fishermen, crabbers, pound netters in Maryland can't catch what they need, obviously the fish aren't there, and the fish aren't there for a reason. Well, the ecosystem needs what is there. So it's really important that we find management tools that can control what's taken when. That's what the Atlantic States Commission is looking at for an addendum coming up. And so that's number two. That's the second item. And also, hot off the press, the Virginia leadership, the Spanberger administration has dedicated $2 million towards Menhaden science in the Bay. So after many, many years of pushback and legislature not passing things and the industry pushing back on it, and the science versus science, or whether we need it or not stuff, has thankfully seemingly come to an end for now, where some money has been put into research on Menhaden here in the Chesapeake through Virginia and VIMS. So that's great news, but we'll see where it leads. So in the meantime, August meeting, ASMFC, what's coming up, will be focused on Menhaden and the addendum, which will lead to public comment periods in the fall. So stand by for a lot more on that. We actually have another one of our 3-part series, the Chesapeake perspective, coming up with Fish Talk Magazine. And one of the big topics will be Menhaden. And we'll look to a lot of our fantastic partners doing work on this front around the region, and really just encouraging people to lift up your voice and talk to your leadership and demand something better for our Bay. Again, when you have a lack of a resource, you can't take it at the same levels that you used to, and that's what we've been doing. We've been avoiding science that can better shape the guidance on what we can take, but we have evidence all around us, a complete lack of Menhaden. And so Omega steamed up into New Jersey waters, or just off New Jersey waters this week. That's got a long way to go for a bunch of small bunkers. So let's hope there's some turnaround both ecologically and some more tools put in place from a management perspective. And we would encourage all of you to get involved in Menhaden related conversations. Again, look through our link tree here in Virginia. Here is the Friday nights on the landing highlighted here. And then Bunker Talk on July 19th, hosted by the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, is a great opportunity to get really in depth with this and talk with Will Poston, their lead on menhaden work, who's a really passionate angler and a knowledgeable guy, really understands this stuff through and through. And the arguments are really clear. What we need to do is put the resource first. That's what we all rely on. The money's there. We've seen the economic benefit right there. So check that stuff out and let's get more involved on these topics. But let's also talk more about habitat. So you can see right here the VSSA Reef Monitoring Program. If you click that, you'll find a beautiful website just brought out by the team at VSSA, the volunteer leadership there. And we're excited to work with them. And I want to help elevate this work they're doing. You know, these reefs can be built in so many ways. It takes a village, and this type of monitoring work is important for management. And whether we know it or not yet, the best time to start collecting data is 10 years ago. So you already have that baseline or that trend. So kudos to the VSSA team. I look forward to seeing what we can do to help. And I hope you guys can come on out to the August 28th Friday nights on the landing when CCA is there. And I hope more partners can join us there. So, all right, I'll pop over here to the Maryland side of things. We have a golf tournament coming up July 13th, Birdies for the Bay. By July 7th, you need to buy your tickets if you want to get in on a foursome. I'll be there with some of our members, trying to keep them down the middle, but we'll see. Also, as I mentioned, the banquet tickets are live here. And if you don't see a local chapter banquet happening near you, reach out to our team. You go to our website, especially the Maryland website, it'll list all the local chapters that are having banquets. You'll find less on the Virginia side. The Northern Virginia chapter has been the number one, the only chapter to hold a banquet consistently over the last many years. And so let's work together to try and make that work on both sides of the river. And so anyway, you'll find more information here about what we have going on, the Great Chesapeake Invasives Count, our reef building work, and just follow along. Stay up to date with what we have going on at CCA. Get involved in your local chapter. Head on over to our website. Follow us on the social media stuff. That's where you're going to find our Anglers Nights. We've got a couple of those coming up. They're going to be added here to the link tree, but will be on our website if you click right here, calendar of events. And in fact, I'll highlight a couple of them real quick. So CCA, Jesse's leading the team here with an event that we've been repeating for years now. So our partners there are fantastic, taking military families out fishing. This is a jugging trip. So actually using a jug, a line, a hook, a circle hook with a dead bait, targeting invasive blue catfish. This is something that can be done in the summertime, and I know Jesse's really into, and is a pretty exciting event. As I mentioned, there is the golf tournament coming up on the 13th, the Kent Narrows. Anglers Night after that. And then, oh yeah, this is a great one. The Invasive Fishing Derby, July 18th, down there on the Nanacoke in Sharpstown. CCA Maryland and the Great Chesapeake Invasives Count are proud to be sponsoring this event. It was not going to happen. We were one of a few partners to reach out and connect with the leadership at Salisbury with Dr. Noah Bressman, reaching out to Dr. Bressman and his team to say, man, we got to make this thing happen. So we're making this thing happen. There's a special GCIC or Great Chesapeake Invasives Count prize where if you fish at this event and you're registered for the invasives count, we're going to take all the fish you catch. We're going to draw random, and somebody's going to win a big Blackstone. It's either a 28 or a 36. I can't remember which one we have in stock, but that's a great prize and a great way to make some more fish tacos. So sign up for that one right there. And folks, if you're in the Virginia waters, participate. Great Chesapeake Invasives Count is a monthly drawing every single month. Live with Lenny tonight, we'll actually draw some of the next winners, and we do that every single month. We also work with anglers and some other partners to highlight prizes. And so even if you want to get involved, if you're out there you work in the industry in some way, or you want to promote something, anything related to invasives, especially the cooking them, we're going to be doing some more of that. We had some other plans on tap this spring that had to get put on hold. But you've seen, I caught this now what, so stand by for one of the answer to that question, cooking it. And we'd love to work with partners on that front. So anyway, as we go, there's Chris Vassallo with Talking Heroes on the Water in Annapolis, the Southern Maryland chapter happy hour at the end of the month, and then Conservation Night Out. This will be a unique one in Annapolis where we'll be talking, be proud to have the Severn River Association, Dr. Ben Fertig come out and talk about his work. I'll also be talking about our work with a smaller group there at the Anglers Night. I'm sorry, at the Conservation Night Out, but at West End Grill, the place where Anglers Nights are typically held. So you see Greater Washington, Annapolis, so on and so forth. The Yorktown area, the Tidewater chapter at Legacy Marine is what we're focused on and doing right now in Virginia. The Northern Virginia chapter will have more going on later in the year, and we look forward to working with all of you. So again, if you don't see something going on in your area, please reach out. If we can highlight something you're doing, something that's exciting that your team's up to, please reach out. Follow our events. You can keep looking out into the future and see some of the great stuff we're doing, like our banquets, Oyster Blues and Brews, so on and so forth. But first and foremost, enjoy that weekend. Have fun. Get out there on the water. Go fishing. Stay safe. Stay hydrated. And happy birthday, America. Take care, guys.